back to Who Needs a Therapist When You Have a Friend podcast. So you guys, the Lord had put it on my heart to talk about me and my relationship with food for like my life. So we're going to talk about that. So what happened was, when I was younger, I got into a car accident with my mom and my leg got broken. And so I couldn't walk for like an entire year. Oh my goodness, it's still there. Anyway, I couldn't walk for an entire year. And I was in the 3rd grade when this happened. And I guess that, she would just make dinner and I would eat it like normal dinner. She would make a lot of fried foods. So it was probably like fried Tyson chicken or, fried potatoes or hamburgers and stuff like that. Like, I don't think she didn't really know how to cook much, and that's kind of what she made when I was young. I remember a lot of that. And so apparently it made me gain a lot of weight. Okay, I was a pretty small kid, and then all of a sudden I had probably weighed 250 or something like that. I don't actually know how much I weighed back then, because weight didn't really mean anything to me as like a 3rd grader, but I knew that I looked a little bit different because I didn't want to wear certain clothes, or they fit funny, or stuff like that. But it wasn't anything big deal to me. But see, when I started to go back to school, people would say I was faking my leg injury. They would say that I wasn't actually hurt. Hurtful things. People wouldn't even help me get my tray at the lunch. So for a 4th grader, 3rd grader, well, in 3rd grade, I didn't go back to school. I don't think for that whole year, or maybe for maybe a month I did. I don't remember. But I remember in 4th grade, I was starting to walk again. So I think I did go back to school for 1 month or 2 months at the end of 3rd grade, and no one would help me walk my tray. No one would do anything like that for me. So I wasn't getting help that I needed to. So I had these crutches, trying to walk with one leg to get lunch at that school. And I didn't really have friends in the 3rd grade at the school I was at. So it was rough. It was rough. And so fast forward to 4th grade. The first day of 4th grade, I remember so in detail, because I had this really cool, those monkeys with the bubblegum shirts, and I had a skirt, and I was like, I look so good. I was able to walk and stuff again by 4th grade, and I fell in a mud puddle at school on the way into school. So then my mom had to bring me clothes on the first day of school because I had destroyed my new clothes. So that was quite upsetting in 4th grade. But then as I continued on through 4th grade, I still didn't really have very many friends, and I was walking, at least thank the Lord, walking again. So then when I started to do that, I was playing with my brother. I don't remember much about 4th grade except for when I was with my dad. I fell down, and he couldn't pick me up because he said I weighed too much, and so I had skinned my knee, and he couldn't pick me up, and he just said, your mom shouldn't feed you hamburgers. You weigh too much for me to pick you up. And I was a little bit upset that my dad wouldn't pick me up, obviously, and that I had to walk back to the car with my leg bleeding. But then, that didn't really, it kind of bothered me that he would say that, but I just kind of let it go as a 4th grade kid. Then I get to 5th grade, and that's where it starts to get pretty bad. I think that me and my brother and sister were biking up a hill, and we were biking down a hill, playing like kids, and this kid stopped at the bottom of the hill and called me Jelly Rolls. And I didn't understand why this kid was calling me Jelly Rolls, because it didn't make any sense. And I guess he was calling me fat, and at the time I didn't really know what being fat was, because no one ever called me fat. Not really. So I was in 5th grade and being called Jelly Rolls. And then I got called a watermelon because I wore a lime green shirt and a pink headband on my head for picture day. And then they would call me a watermelon because they thought I was so fat. And it was heartbreaking to be called those names. And then they also would make fun of me because I was still wearing at the time like really stretchy, baggy clothes, because I didn't like tight-fitting clothing because it just tugs you in the wrong spots or whatever. So I didn't really like the tight-fitting clothing, so I would just wear big baggy clothes. And I didn't have very many clothes anyway because I had gained all that weight, so I wasn't able to wear older clothes. And so my mom, and also she didn't have a lot of money at the time, so I just would wear "and your point is" shirt a lot, and people would make fun of me for wearing like the same clothes. I mean, they were always clean. I mean, I washed them. It wasn't a big deal. So then I was like, all right, Mom, I'm going to have to change the person that I am when I'm going to 6th grade because I don't have any jeans. And I need to look better because apparently people want to make fun of me for the person that I am, what I'm wearing. And so I did. I changed my clothes. And I got a little bit better. I still wear my hair up all the time, and I still do. I don't like hair in my face. I don't like dealing with it. Plus, I don't really know how to style it. So anyway, apparently I still was quite large in the 6th grade, but I wasn't like so large as being called a watermelon anymore. But I still was large. But no one really commented on my body like that in 6th grade because I don't know why, but they didn't. And then in 7th grade, they didn't really comment on it either. I mean, I had like other drama in 6th and 7th grade, but not being called that. But then when I get to 8th grade, I started just being called foreigner. By the teachers too. The teachers were quite racist in 8th grade. There was one in particular who was very racist. Yeah, that wasn't the best year ever. And then also before that, I had been in 7th grade called a foreigner. So it wasn't like I was being made fun of for being fat by this point. I was being made fun of for my skin color in 7th and 8th grade. That's what that was about. So then, in the summer of 8th grade, I guess I went through like puberty or something for a girl. And I played just like a normal kid from 8th grade to 9th grade, plays, outside and everything. And I come back to school and they were like, Magenta, did you take drugs over the summer to lose weight? And I was like, what do you mean, drugs? Like, I did not take drugs. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? Because again, you guys, I was oblivious to being, like fat. I didn't know what that really entailed. And I didn't know that people thought I was fat until they were like, well, you had to take drugs to lose that much weight over the summer. And I was like, no, I did not. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so they were like, you just went through a dramatic change in how you look from 8th grade to 9th grade. That didn't make any sense to me. I just was myself. But it had now been like 4 years since I had gained all that weight. So I guess it was time for it to finally come back off. But also, I will tell you this. Back in the day, I think it was in the summer of 7th grade. It could have been 8th grade. I don't know. But during that time frame, my mom told us that she wasn't making lunch on the time that I needed her to make lunch. So I made myself 2 cheeseburgers on, a George Foreman grill with bacon and cheese. And I'm talking pretty big burgers because I was hungry, right? And then next thing I know, my mom says, we're going to go out to Crystal's and we're going to go and do all this stuff and meet people and eat. And I was like, oh no, I just ate, Mom. And I was like, fine, whatever. So then she goes around Crystal's and I remember her saying, do you want something with your tail? Well, obviously, because why wouldn't you, as a kid? Oh my goodness, you guys. So then she gets like, I don't remember how many crystals, like 20 crystals, French fries, like apple pies, whatever. Like, this was like a big ordeal for us to be going anyway. And her eating out was a really big deal. So, of course, I wasn't going to pass it up. But then, you guys, so remember I said I ate 2 humongous bacon cheeseburgers, right? So then I ate like 12 crystals. I'm pretty sure it could have been more. I ate French fries and my sister's French fries. This is awful. Okay, but I did this. And then I ate like whatever dessert pie thing she got. And when I tell you that I felt like I ate too much food, my stomach hurt forever. I said, I am never, ever eating this much food ever again. This makes me ill. So food made me so ill for like, I don't know how long I felt ill for. It was a long time about how much food I ate. And I told my mom, I'm never eating that much food again at one time. So that could have contributed to me losing weight in like from 8th grade to 9th grade, because I was not about to eat that much cheeseburgers ever again. Okay. So like when you eat too much, it causes a lot of pain, So I only ever ate that much again one more time that I can vividly remember. It was for Thanksgiving. And I just ate so much on this plate of food until my stomach hurt so bad. I was like, okay, this isn't happening again. And then when that started, after that, I started working out like in the nighttime, and I would not eat past 5 p.m. because I wanted to work out around 7 to 8. And if I ate past 5, I could not work out because I would puke because it was just so heavy. And this, of course, was a problem because my mother didn't want to eat till 7. And then I also cut out like French fries. I would not eat McDonald's. I would not eat like stuff like that. So if she was like buying food to eat out, I wouldn't. So a lot of times I remember my favorite thing to do is like to make those frozen waffles. 2 of them with strawberries and whipped cream, scrambled eggs, and whatever bacon she would have. And then I would have orange juice and ice cream, and that would be my dinner. And that's what I would eat when I like would go home and make it. That would be like my favorite meal that I'd make. Sometimes I'd make potatoes. It just really depended. But I remember her getting mad because she didn't like that I would eat so early, and so like I wouldn't eat with anyone. So I would just eat it all. But that helped me a lot because, one, I never felt like I was eating too much, and I would also eat like every hour, because if you eat every hour, you don't get that full stomach and it doesn't hurt as much. But if you do eat a large meal, going walking after that meal really helps. And then just trying to stay at like 10,000 steps a day is very helpful in my eyes. And so that's what I did. And then for the longest time, I wouldn't eat French fries. And then like I would eat chips, like big chips, a lot. And then like I just like crunchy chips. But I also like to eat carrots and like ranch. I never really adapted my diet like too much. Like I still ate what I wanted to eat, except not French fries or like fried foods often. Or pizza, even though I do love pizza. I just had to do it in moderation more. And for some reason, like, being called a jelly roll is upsetting, And it still bothers me to this day that my dad was like, can't pick you up. So then for the longest time, I was like, I'm not marrying someone who can't, like, lift me up. If I, like, fell down, they need to have enough strength to at least hold me. Because that was upsetting. I don't know. I mean, now I come back to think about it, and I'm like, that's not a reason to pick a man. No, you have to pray and talk to the Lord and stuff. But for a long time, that was just always my mindset, because I mean, it wasn't that many people that called me fat, and I didn't know as a child what being fat was. But once you like lose the weight, then they say, oh, you look so much better than you did. And then still to this day, when I tell people I was called jelly rolls, they think it's funny. Or if you get called watermelon. I don't know. I really don't. I always did have like, after that, I started to get like, maybe body dysmorphia, like thoughts of not being skinny enough. But it was only because I was afraid that no one would be able to lift me up. And that was scary because, you know, I had broken my leg and I couldn't walk for like the longest time. And then when I fell over and had my knee hurt, then my dad says, I can't carry you, you have to walk. So then you have to walk in the pain. So I was like, well, if I was skinnier, I would have been picked up. So, you know, it's just kind of, that's what had lingered in my mind for so long. I mean, I didn't really get to see my dad often, but, you know, just thinking back to it is a little bit upsetting. And then his family was like, oh, you're not the magenta that eats everything anymore. And I was like, I didn't know that that's what you thought about me, but I guess now I do. So yeah, that was a little bit hurtful back in the day. And it still kind of hurts now, because honestly, they didn't tell me about that till years after the fact. But that's just my like story about food, and people were like, you could have never have looked like that. Oh, let me tell you, I did. And I just don't want to go back, because they're so mean and hurtful, and I don't know. I truly don't know. So anyway, that was my problem that I had with gluttony. Yeah, but I think the Lord fixed that, because I ate that 2 times too much food and I couldn't eat no more. The pain of eating too much food is just awful. It's good going down, right? It's not good any other time. Anyway, I hope you guys like had a good holiday. I don't know when I'm going to be posting this podcast, but it was just Thanksgiving yesterday, so I'm talking about this because I just feel like it's so important to share parts of your life with people, to let them know that your body is going to go through changes in life no matter what you do. And you have to learn that it's okay to change, and that food is not like something that you should rely on. And you should just I'm to the point anymore where if I eat, it makes me feel sick the majority of the time to eat certain foods. So sometimes I hate eating, and you have to eat to want to be able to thrive. You're not eating because you just want to eat. Because if you eat because you want to eat, that's when you can gain weight. So you have to come up with a different outlet or a different method so you're not hungry and you know you're not. If that makes any sense. I hope it does. I don't often talk about this part of my life from when I was younger. But again, I'm practicing vulnerability and talking to you guys because you guys are my friends. But yeah, it's just really difficult when you think about it. But it'll be okay. But as a 5th grader, it's a little bit hard when you have no friends and people are just like always whispering about you and saying mean things to you. That's how I always felt anyway. In the 5th grade. The 5th grade was not a good year for me. And neither was 4th grade, really. But I did like high school a little bit more. But my mom would always try to keep me at home all the time, so she wouldn't let me go out or experience things. And that was a little bit upsetting. But also, I wasn't a runner in high school. I hated it. So, I tried to do tennis, and that did not go well. Tennis was not my game. But that was the first time I ever tried Taco Bell, and I had a chicken quesadilla, and I had a apple empanada, and that was really good. That was my fondest memory of playing tennis. The other times I didn't really care for tennis too much. Did you play any sports? Let me know. So yeah, I'm taking a little bit time off of talking about what happened at EKU in case you were wondering. I'm just enjoying my walk here. I am going to get some AAA batteries to listen to the recordings, which is going to be an interesting time to dissect those meetings and all of that stuff. But I just felt like it was important for me to talk about things that others would call me. There was this thing when I was in college that they were like, write down the things that people would call you as a child, or hurtful things. And there was the B word on there and stuff like that. But I wrote Jelly Rolls, and they also laughed. And they were doing a project to where people would write the bad stuff, and then it would turn into a pretty art piece, which I actually think it did turn out into a pretty art piece. But the thing was, they laughed that someone called me Jelly Rolls, thought it was funny. And that was all the way in college. So that was just a interesting time in my life. So I guess we could always talk about that. I do like to go biking still to this day. I'm not the best going up hills. I would love to figure out how those people do mountain biking going up hills like that, because that's some steep mountains. But also going down, you better have some good brakes. Definitely. I'm also wanting some winter Arctic boots. They go down to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and I need a bib. Maybe one day I'll have a farm and I'll be walking the farm with that. The boots are $400. But I'm gonna save for those because I need some boots. And these one boots I got, these Sperry black boots, and I paid $200 for these boots, and I'll tell you, they are not warm. They're the worst boots I've ever had. I think they keep my feet less warm than my tennis shoes, and that's saying a lot. So I do not like them. Maybe I should write an email about it to Sperry, which I don't even know if Sperry's still in business anymore. But if they are, tell them those boots aren't warm. I like Bear Trap boots, they were good. But if you're wanting to walk out in the cold and do hiking and stuff in this weather, I would suggest these rigid boots. When I get them, I will show you them. That could be a few months. It could almost be summertime before I buy those boots. But you know what? I will get those. And I just want to spew out gratitude to what I do have. So right now I just have some Under Armour shoes that I got at this place outlet store in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And they're not bad. I mean, as long as I got shoes on my feet, I'm thankful and blessed, and I'm happy to be walking and just talking to you guys. But yeah, I wanted to share my tidbit of what happened when I was younger, and how I overate, those times that I remember vividly being in pain from eating. And I had forgot about that until like the Lord just reminded me to talk about that, because it was pretty traumatic, really. But if this helps someone, I'm glad to help, because, you know, your body just changes and you can't really help how it changes sometimes, and unexpected events do happen in your life. But know that just because where you're at right now does not mean that's where you're going to be forever. And know that food's not really the enemy. It's just the way you portion it out and what you do and the reason why you are eating. Just eat to fuel your body and like keep up your energy. You don't have to eat because you're bored. You don't have to eat because of this, or just get out and try to do some steps. Like I used to just walk laps in my house. And I also had like a Jolene Michaels like workout thing on my DS. I used to have a Nintendo DS, and I would do this workout all the time. Just small things. And that was in high school because I wanted to be more active. I just didn't know how. So there's what I did. I also, once I got in college, I actually found a deep love for exercise that I never really had as a child. And I started doing PiYo, which is Pilates and yoga mixed together. And I truly love that, actually. I miss that because it keeps you like flexible, and it just is really nice. So just thought I'd tell you about that as well. And that I want you guys to tell me, like, what are you up to? Like, what's new in your life? Because I do these videos for you guys and to listen to you and to talk to you and to be open. So yeah, how are you guys doing and what's new in your life? Just let me know, because I really just want to know. So I feel like I have probably talked your head off about this, but I just really wanted to tell you guys and have a conversation about it, because I thought it was important to tell you. And sometimes when I'm walking, I get lonely, and I'm glad that you guys could be here with me, because I don't really have anyone else to walk with. And so I'm glad that you could be here with me to share this experience and to just be with me. So thank you. The sun is coming out now. It's like, I think, about 38 today. They said that's the high. I don't know if that's actually the high, but anyway. Yeah, hopefully I can buy one of those steppers that you have when you're like in, like you've seen on TikTok, those steppers. So maybe I can get one of those instead of walking on the road. But then again, if I get those boots, it won't matter how cold it is, unless if it's below 60, and then I don't know who wants to be outside in that. Anyway, I want to let you guys know you're amazing, you are kind, you are smart, you are funny, and you are an extraordinary person. You cannot be duplicated. You are one of a kind. I'm so proud of you. I want to let you know that you have a shining light that just lights up the world. And I'm so thankful that I could be here with you to see it and to share my life with you. And I'm hoping that you will be there to share your life with me, because you are my friend. You're my best friend, and I'm so proud of where you are now and where you're going and the person that you are. And I just want to thank you. And I want to honor and praise the Lord, our Father which art in heaven, for this podcast and for me being able to talk to you guys and to just be here with you. So remember, who needs a friend? Who needs a therapist when you have a friend? And that's the truth. Anyway, love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.